So, on behalf of all the groups that have been opposing the three infrastructure projects in the Bhagwan Mahavir National Park and the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary, today we have got very good news to report. The Central Empowered Committee, which faced not just a complaint from the Goa Foundation, but from hundreds of environmental groups from all over the country. The signatories went to more than 60 pages of persons who had signed declarations opposing these three projects. Today, the best possible news has come up from the Central Empowered Committee, which has recommended in their report dated 23rd of April to the Registrar of the Supreme Court the following three projects, that is the railway project, is recommended for wholesale cancellation. Please repeat, the doubling project of the Southwestern Railway has been recommended for complete cancellation. Number two, the Tamnar 400 kV line, which was going through a new portion of the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary in the north, which would take it very close to the Tambadi Sudla Rock Temple. That has been cancelled, that alignment has been cancelled, and the Tamnar authorities have been told to go back to the old 110 kV alignment where there is already a right of way and where there will be no further damage to the forests. So on that ground, they have said that they agree with what has been suggested to them, that they should go to 110, 220 kV line, and eventually their argument is that once the 400 kV line comes in any case, the 110 line and the 220 line are going to be of no use. So rather than having three lines in the wildlife sanctuary, they said you will shelve the present alignment and go back to the 110 kV alignment so that the corridor and the wildlife sanctuary is not damaged in another virgin area. And in the third instance of the national highway, though the committee has taken a different view from that of the Goa Foundation and all the people who have been filing critical reports on the environment impact assessment studies, the CEC has taken the point of view that what we want here is something to be done about the old road, because the old road has been seeing increased traffic. With the result is that there's been a lot of damage to wildlife on this old road. And they say that instead of expanding it in the way it was originally proposed, what should be done is that the elevated highway should be taken into much earlier than where the PWD plans to start it. So that they say the wildlife for the entire portion of the elevated highway would have complete movement across the area without having to be worried about trucks or vehicles or something moving along that road. Now that's the ecological reason that they are given, and technically one can go into this, but before we go into all this, but these are the three significant points. Abandon the railway project doubling. Number two, shift the Tanmar line, cancel that alignment today and take it back to 110. And number three, as far as the national highway is concerned, their most important conclusion as far as we are concerned is they say that the National Highway 4A requires an environment clearance, which they do not have. And therefore, the project will have to get an environment clearance. These are the three principal findings of the CEC report. I have just touched the button and sent the report to all the people who are part of this press conference and the general media that we address in the state of Goa. And I would say that if you have got a copy of the report in front of you, you should go to page 102 of the report, which gives you the recommendations in brief. There is the recommendation of on the doubling of the stretch of the railway line from Castle Rock to Pune in Goa, which is phase 2, that is from Tinaigat to Vasco. They have taken the section, please note, not from Castle Rock to Vasco, but from Tinaigat to Vasco, and they have cancelled this entire segment of the railway approval granted by the Standing Committee of the National Board of Wildlife. Please note that our original complaint is against the decisions of the Standing Committee of the National Board of Wildlife, chaired by the Environment Minister Javadekar, and that these decisions were taken during a video conference on the 7th of April 2020. 30 projects were approved in the space of 3 hours on video conference, and none of them was really looked at very carefully, and we said that this violates all Supreme Court's orders and also violates the provisions of the Act. So the Central Empire Committee has said, yes, the decision of Standing Committee is wrong, it has to be set aside. They have recommended this to the Supreme Court, and they have given 2 grounds. One is the first set of grounds is from number Roman 1, 2, 3, 4 are basically relating to the economic viability of the railway. They say that there is no real economic viability for this railway. They say they have been told by the MPT that coal, which today comprises 90% of the freight, is going to be cut down further as a result of national policy on coal. And they say that 80% of the rakes are coming back to Goa empty. And even if you double the railway line, it will be another 80% which will come back empty. And they have said a lot of alternatives like going through the Krishnapatnam port, these have not been exactly done. Now the environmental grounds are given from point 7, chapter from Roman 7, where they say that the opening of the forest cover in the sensitive Western Ghats along the existing line is likely to invite light demanding invasive weeds like the Milkania species, which colonize fast in the open area and spread to the nearby forest canopy and destroy the natural forest. Then they say that the increased number of trains and wider openings through the sensitive Western Ghats for laying the track will further fragment the habitat and make the movement of wildlife, including arboreal animals, that is animals that live on trees, across the railway line much more difficult and dangerous and bound to result in higher casualties. And then they say that the railway line cuts across the most important animal corridor in the Western Ghats landscape between Karnataka and Maharashtra to the state of Goa. And it is a serious impediment for movement of long-ranging animals like the tiger and the elephant. Then they say the approval of the NBWL, the National Board of Wildlife, to go ahead with the project has been granted for the Goa portion without the advice of the National Tiger Conservation Authority, which is a statutory requirement under Section 38O of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. This is an argument we raised squarely with the CEC, and he said there is a gross underestimation of the requirement of virgin land for implementation of the project because it will require additional land to make road connectivity, temporary dumping of excavated blasted stone, parking of heavy machinery and such during the stage of implementation of the project. So more than 120 hectares is going to be required. And they say that the connectivity between Goa and Karnataka is anyway being strengthened by way of the 4-laning of the National 4A through the same route and by development of a new airport. So the conclusion is that the CEC does not find any justification for undertaking a project of this nature which will destroy the fragile ecosystem of the Western Ghats, which is an internationally recognized biodiversity hotspot and also one of the most important wildlife corridors of the country. Moreover, this doubling project will only be marginally enhancing the capacity of the most inefficient section of the railway network passing through ecologically sensitive and biodiversity rich tiger reserve, 2 wildlife sanctuaries and a national park. In these circumstances, it is recommended for the consideration of the Supreme Court to revoke the permission granted by the Standing Committee of the National Board of Wildlife for doubling of the railway track passing through the ecologically sensitive Western Ghats From Thinai Castle Rock in Karnataka to Kule in Goa, involving 120 hectares of protected area and 7 of non-protected area from the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary in the state of Goa, and 10.45 hectare in the Dandeli Wildlife Sanctuary and Halial Forest Division in the state of Karnataka, which were granted approval by the standing committee at a subsequent meeting. They say that these are in violation of the Supreme Court order of 5/10/2015 and without considering the justification for the doubling of the most inefficient railway line with 1:37 gradient and with severe restriction on movement of trains, and without considering the availability of alternative railway routes as well as alternative modes of transport. This is in relation to the railway line. And if you go to section B at page 107 of the report, you will see they say in relation to the Tamnar project, the keeping in view the detailed discussion above, CEC is of the considered view that instead of clearing canopy of virgin forest cover along 10.50 kilometer long corridor with 46-meter right of way in Goa state, the proposed 400 kV line should be drawn along the existing 220 kV corridor line in Goa state after establishing 400 kV corridor connectivity between Mapsa and Sangod and 220 kV between Sangod and Sheldon. This activity, in fact, is also part of the present project approved by CEA. This course of action will ensure adequate supply of power to the southern Goa region when the 100 megawatt of power now being received from Ramagundam through 220 kV line is temporarily disrupted during the construction phase of 400 kV line between Narendra and Sangod. Accordingly, the project proposal in respect of Karnataka will require to be suitably amended so as to make use of the existing 110-220 kV line corridor. This will also ensure that the commitment given by Power Grid and CEA, that is Central Electricity Authority, to the Karnataka government that no further transmission line shall be laid in the area is not violated. Most important of all this modification in the proposal will help in saving the precious forest and wildlife in the ecologically fragile and biodiversity-rich Western Ghats. Keeping in view the above, this Honorable Court, that is Supreme Court, may consider issuing necessary directions to the Ministry of Power, Government of India, Goa State Electricity Department, and Goa Tamnar to redraw and modify the alignment of additional 400 kV corridor line between Narendra and Sangod New in the state of Goa and Karnataka. And the third one is about the four-laning. They say this comes on page 108 of the report. It says, keeping in view the CEC, after examining the four-laning of National Highway 4A road proposed between Chainage 84 and 97, and after considering the long-term management requirement of the park so as to minimize animal road kills and man-animal conflict, and also with a view to minimize the adverse impact of four-laning of National Highway 4A, has made certain suggestions in a meeting held on 12th of April 2021, and by their letter dated 13th of April 2021, sought the views of the PWD, Government of Goa, National Highway. In response, the Chief Engineer, PWD, Government of Goa has incorporated the changes in line with the suggestions of CEC to the earlier proposed plan of four-laning improvement of the existing Goa-Karnataka border, Moreh-Goa section of National Highway. Keeping in view the changes proposed by CEC and agreed to by the PWD, we recommend to the Supreme Court that the four-laning approved by the Standing Committee may be permitted to be implemented with the following modification. The span of the animal overpass proposed at Chainage 93 shall be increased from 12 meters to 50 meters. Please note, from 12 meters to 50 meters. The span of the underpass at Chainage 84 will be increased from 12 meters to 100 meters with 3 sections. This is to allow free movement of the animals under these sections of the four-laning. Then the proposed four-lane road in plain terrain, that is on the ground, be converted to four-lane elevated road from 91 to 93 over a length of 1.5 kilometers. That is, over that length of one, they say take the road which is on the plain road now, take it up, so that you have a much greater area for the animals to move underneath the elevated highway. And they say that the proposal for diversion of forest land for non-forest purpose under Forest Conservation Act and the NBWR clearance will accordingly be required to be amended by the project proponents. The project being more than 100 kilometers in length, the environment clearance under EIA 226 is required to be obtained by the project proponent, and while doing so, the project proponent should keep in view the observations of the Honorable High Court of Karnataka before implementation, continuation of improvement of the four laning of the National Highway 4A along the 153 kilometers. So you can see these are the general recommendations that have come. These have now gone to the Supreme Court on the 23rd of April. And basically, let me sort of give you, the general conclusions. Railway project is to be shut down from Tinai Ghat up to Vasco on two grounds: economic unviability and inefficiency, and two, vast damage to the wildlife sanctuary and national park. Because the railway goes through national park first and then it goes through wildlife sanctuary. Now, what this has on the acquisition of the lands of people outside the wildlife sanctuary or something is yet to be examined, but there will be a lot of implications for that as well. In terms of the Tanmar electricity line, we have ourselves recommended to them that you please use 110 kV, because in Karnataka the right of way of 10 kV line was used by Tanmar on the ground that the forest department was not giving them the permission to cut the trees. Whereas in Goa, the Goa Forest Department, like slaves, have given in all the permissions for cutting of the trees. We calculated that in Goa alone, more than 65,000 trees in the Western Ghats would be needed to be cut for the Tanmar project. We calculated it permission by permission and then gave it and went to the court on it, and our petition is pending before the court. So the CEC has agreed with us and said nothing doing. You go back to 110, where this line was put before the sanctuary was created. This was put in 1966. So at that time there was no sanctuary. You put this line, you got a right of way, you take this right of way, you remove both these lines, 220 and 110, and you put your 400 kV line. Now the response of the department has been that we will lose 100 megawatts during the construction phase, and the whole of South Goa will be in trouble and Goa will be in trouble. I think this was just a scare which they have raised. The Goa government electricity department is fully competent to be able to improve the efficiency of the transmission system, so that during the construction phase, in the wildlife sanctuary, they will be able to supply that 100 megawatt of power which they are getting from the southern grid. They should be able to supply it from the northern grid. And we will support them, all of us, because we are protecting our sanctuary and we are keeping it safe for all time to come. And if they are putting the 400 kV line in that 110 kV right of way, then what is going to happen is they have agreed to the CEC, they have told the CEC that the line will be 45 meters high. That is, it will be above 6 to 7 meters above the canopy of the wildlife sanctuary forest. And therefore, there will be no need to cut any forest below except for the transmission towers. And that space is already cleared for the 110 and 220 kV line. So we said you can put it there, because after you put the 400 kV line there and after you take the lines out of the canopy of the forest, then the entire forest will be restored back to the animals, and which is the only way you can meet the requirements of Section 29 of the Wildlife Protection Act, which is if you are doing anything in a wildlife sanctuary, it must improve the wildlife sanctuary and it must improve the conditions for the movement and welfare of the wildlife in that sanctuary. The third project which they have agreed to, now we may agree, we ourselves may agree, we may not agree. But as far as we are concerned, we are looking at what the CEC is saying. The CEC is saying the old road has been leading to a lot of animal mortality because the traffic there has increased. And this is going to increase. So do you want your animals to keep being killed, or do you want an elevated highway on the same stretch where the road is, but it done in such a way that for 11 out of the 13 kilometers, the road will be sufficiently above the ground so that tigers and every other animal can freely go and pass, and the corridor is maintained. Today the corridor is not there because the old National 4A highway is coming squarely and dividing the sanctuary into two portions. So let us examine it. This is what the CEC has said. All our wildlife groups will study this proposal. All of them will look at it again. We will send it out. But what is important on the national highway is that the CEC has said, where is your environment clearance? You should have got an environment clearance for this project. So they have said that before you continue any work on this 100-kilometer stretch, that is on the entire Belgaum-Panji stretch, you will now submit it to an environment clearance. So what is going to happen is work on all these three projects is going to come to a halt. The Tanmar project will have to recast their alignment. The National Highway will have to stop all their work all along the alignment everywhere. And the railways will have to close up their drawing plans and go back home with their railway project and keep our sanctuary in the present state in which it is. And we would go further and say that you had proposed so many mitigation measures for this new railway line of yours. Why don't you put some of these now for the single track? You didn't do it for 50 years. At least now can you do it? Forget about double track, but at least can you do it for the single track so that the animals have some way of moving up and down, across that single railway track, because it's still killing. It is still killing. I've got pictures of sambar. I've got pictures of gaur, all being killed. Snakes, too numerous to mention. Too numerous to mention. I've got a question from Trisha. The 11-kilometer will be 4-lane. It will be 4-lane. It will not be 2-lane. But since it is going to be on viaduct structure, whether it's 2-lane or 4-lane, it will be above, and it will allow the free movement of animals. This is as I said, we are not disclosing whether we agree with this or not, and ultimately this report has to go to the Supreme Court. It's gone to the Supreme Court on the 23rd of April. Now it will come before the Supreme Court bench, and the Supreme Court bench will consider whether to accept this report or not, because the railways are bound to try and contest it. Tanmar may try and contest it. Nobody knows who. The National Highway also may try and contest it. Nobody knows what these people are going to do. But I feel that the report has gone into every aspect of the issues raised by everybody, not just by the project proponents, but by all the wildlife groups, by all the youngsters who made this fantastic Save Mole campaign alive and brought it to the attention of everybody all over the country, and got a massive support from lots of people from the state of Maharashtra, from the state of Karnataka. Karnataka people began to support us. Now we are supporting people in Karnataka, because this Western Ghats segment between Karnataka and Goa is too precious to damage in any way, particularly during these times when we are talking about the migration of viruses from wildlife to human beings and COVID and so on. It's best to keep these areas alone. The second question, as of now, all three projects are at halt. Yes, the railway project is not yet begun. The Tanmar project has not begun in the sanctuary at all. But if they are not very careful, they will only be allowed to do the portions. We have got a challenge where we have challenged the alignment before the High Court. That will come up for consideration in the background of this report, and then we will see. And as far as the National Highway is concerned, there is a very clear recommendation that they will not be allowed. It says, before implementation, continuation of improvement of 4-laning of the highway, you will have to keep in all the of the recommendations by the Karnataka High Court, and you will have to get your environment clearance. Yes, from Gerard, there's a question. The existing power line involves a longer stretch within the sanctuary and protected area, much of which has since regenerated since it was constructed. Will that not cause much damage? See, this is something that has been raised by the Tannar people themselves, saying that there's been a lot of regeneration. But if you go to the site, you feel that that is not true. What is that? Is basically secondary regeneration that has taken place. And every year, that regeneration, particularly of the 220 kV line, has been continuously cut down because the trees go up and cause what they call these, power shutdowns every time, because they get entangled in the wires and so on. So if you look at 110 kV line, you can see that the 110 kV line is completely engulfed in bushes and creepers and so on. These are secondary and tertiary vegetation. There's no great deal. We are looking at a wildlife sanctuary for the next generation. We are looking at permanent structural changes in the wildlife sanctuary. We are looking at a line that was put before the wildlife sanctuary was notified in 1966. And therefore, we think that maybe this is a good proposal. I'm not agreeing as yet. We have to consider. We have just got the proposal, and we have. It's not only the Goa Foundation. It's a lot of young people involved in this, and a lot of groups who are involved in this. We all have to discuss this. We'll have to have a meeting on this and see what will be our stand when this matter comes up before the Supreme Court. When is the next hearing in the Supreme Court? Well, I do not know really anything about this, because right now the Supreme Court has issued a circular saying that except for urgent matters, nothing will be taken up, and the Supreme Court will go into vacation on around about the 15th of May, and it will resume only in July. But there's a lot of chaos right now because of there's a new Chief Justice also come. There's a lot of reorganization of benches, etc. So it will take some time. But anyway, none of these projects are urgent in any way, and they can easily wait for a couple of months till the Supreme Court has looked. And certainly once the Central Empowered Committee, acting on a Supreme Court's order dated the 5th of October 2015, acting on that order, says that you please do not do anything, and the Supreme Court will look at these recommendations. I don't think that anyone should move an inch on these projects till the Supreme Court comes out with its definitive decision on all the three projects. How do you look at the damage already caused due to the felling of trees for the Tamnar project in the large private forest area? To my knowledge, the only damage done so far is in the Sangod area. That is to 2,670 trees. Now that is challenged before the High Court, and we have also filed a further. But to my knowledge, no other private forest area has been cut for the Tanmar project, and they have still to get the order issued by the state government that has not been issued. In relation, does this mean Tanmar can still go ahead with the 450 kV if they realign and keep the lines above the canopy? See, there is a procedure. They will have to go back to the Central Electricity Authority. But as I said, all these decisions will be taken after the Supreme Court decides on these recommendations. If the Supreme Court says, yes, we accept the recommendations, then the Tanmar people have to go back to the Central Electricity Authority and get a realignment approved by them, saying that, see, we are not being permitted to go through the wildlife sanctuary. Please give us permission to use 110 kV line. This is exactly what they did in the case of Karnataka. They'll have to do it in the case of Goa. Now, if they do that, then the chances are that they will not be able to utilize Sangod, because that may go out of line. They may be able to, they would have to go back to Sheldon. So there are a lot of these issues which are to be raised, and I do not know when they will be raised. Is there any precedence for the Supreme Court ignoring the recommendations from a CEC report? Yes, but these are marginal. By and large, the recommendations of the Supreme Court committees are generally looked at very kindly by the Supreme Court unless there are serious problems with it. A big thank you, Captain Viriato, that we can see he has thanked all the groups, yes, and we welcome and we think we have said very categorically that this is a fight of everybody, all the Goenkas, to get these projects cancelled. I have a question regarding Tanmad. The 110 kV line is in sanctuary on Karnataka part. However, the alignment Karnataka before reaching this defunct will result in lots of damage. No, they are using their 110 kV line. They are going to incorporate the 110 kV line as part of the 400 kV line. So they are building multi-tiered line, and they will accommodate the 110 kV line. But they will have to get forest clearance. Whether that forest clearance is given or not, I do not know, because now
Cloud,
yes,
Cloud, Giridhar here. Yeah.
yes,
First of all, congratulations for all your efforts. So, as I mentioned in my question regarding Tamnar, so the 110 kV line is in the Castle Rock area of Dandeli Sanctuary.
yes,
But the majority of the alignment in Karnataka part lies before that, and
yes.
it passes through the deemed eco-sensitive zones of Kadi Tiger Reserve and Bhimgad Wildlife Sanctuary. So, if they are considering the 110 kV line, defunct line for accommodating the existing 400 kV, it may not be useful for the Karnataka part as far as Goa is
So that is
concerned.
something. See, that is something that the Karnataka groups anyway can raise, because
Yeah, yeah,
with the decision of the CEC now, the foresters in Karnataka who objected to the line, they will also feel happy that their opinions have been respected, and
definitely.
this
Yeah, yeah,
will enable you enough time to get back to try and ensure that
yes,
you ensure that if you don't want it, please tell them to take it somewhere else, because the Tanmar project in their application to the forest department and to the Ministry of Environment said, when they looked at the benefit cost ratio, they said the benefit cost ratio is 4,500:1.
yeah, yeah. I
That
saw
means,
that.
that means there was so much of benefit for this project. They can easily bring down the BC ratio from 4,500 to even 1:1.5:1.
Correct, correct,
So they've got a lot of opportunity. Take the railway, take the line through different portions, but don't take it to Dandeli, and don't take it through good forest areas. These
correct.
are the last few forests. We are not going to allow them. Please let us join hands with the Karnataka group. Now, will you please allow the Goa groups again to ask queries in case because there's only 1 minute left. Any other question urgent, you can please send it to me by email, and I will respond to it. As I said, the report of the CEC now has been sent to everybody. Those who want, please send a message to me, and I will send it to them by return email. So thank you very much for coming for this press conference, and thank everybody. And I've already thanked the CEC, but I think what the CEC has done, and Mr. PV Jai Krishnan, Amarnath Chetty, Mahinder Vyas, ADN Rao, all these people have done, is that they have protected the wildlife sanctuary and national park for the future generations of Goans. And all of us in Goa will be grateful for them for doing very good work, very scholarly work, very systematic work to ensure